welcome to Sporting Jibberish. I've got my hands wrong again. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Jack Luffman. How are
you?
you?
I'm just looking at myself and I look rough and tired.
You look out I feel.
But I was going to say, you should be more tired than me, so how do you not look this rough?
I'm just a man of beauty, mate. You can't make these.
Well, you definitely can't make one of them again, could you? Look at the ties on that.
Gets to places other things can't.
Well, sore bird. Should stop you getting run out, shouldn't it? We'll talk about that.
That was even quicker than this week.
Right, on today's show, we're going to be covering last week's Premiership games. Obviously, there's a bit of a gap now between the next one, so no fancy football results for anybody this week. We're talking a little bit about transfers because it seems like in the last 48 hours, it's almost like everything just kick-started. It's usually the last day. It seems like we've gone for the last weekend this year. Some interesting things happening.
Definitely. Talking about that break, I didn't realise having a winter break until I'm like, what's Connor Cody in Dubai? Michelle came over and gone, Dario, which is a fellow manager's husband, has on the one and only on the Palm. Such and such over there. Like Ronaldo's at Expo. I'm like, what's going on here? The boys at the golf.
Yeah, they're
winter break.
They're all here. They're all dotted about the place. Just interesting news before Karen. Chelsea don't actually play a Premiership match for like a month.
It's 27th of February.
Crazy.
That's why we let them win at the weekend.
Yeah, well, that's nice of you. We'll talk about that in a sec. As we mentioned about transfers, a little bit about the Women's Ashes.
Yeah, going on.
Go that way as well. And then a little bit of a debate that keeps kind of rummaging around about UFC versus boxing. So I'll have a little bit of a chat about that. But we'll start with our sporting week. Did you have a game last week?
No, so when we recorded last Thursday at yours, I followed my chip butty, plenty of gravy, lovely. I think Bella deserves a pat on the back for that. I went off to somewhere in Sharjah to play in that game, and to cut a very long story short, we waited about for an hour or so, but the floodlights failed.
Which is bad news, but then it was redated for last night.
Yeah.
And did they manage to get the floodlights on?
Yeah, floodlights, fireworks, LED lights, the cameras, the lot was working. So it was really good fun. Unfortunately, we came out the wrong side of the result by, I think it was about 100 runs or just under. So, no doubt, a bit of a thrashing, a bit of a larrup in there. But in all fairness, there's a bit of a mismatch because we've basically put out some of the lads who don't play at the weekend for whatever reason, probably not quite in the first team plans at the minute or can't because of work commitments. A couple of new guys who we didn't really know, and then sort of fill the gaps with like myself this week because I wanted to have a bat, and Ben came down.
You do fill a gap well, don't you?
I do with this schmuck. And they basically turned up with, so the company is run by this fellow who seems to be the dad, so he runs the whole tournament and has got this company and has cricketers. His two lads played, the other lad sort of runs the event, and the rest of them were effectively professionals, of which there were four, maybe five, Pakistani professionals who didn't get picked up in the PSL draft, which happened 2-3 weeks back. That's about to start that T20 competition now. It has all the big boys from around the world in. They missed out, so there's obviously no first-class cricket or anything going on there at the moment. They've jumped on a plane and over here playing. So, and my goodness, could they bat?
I was going to say, so just average players then.
Oh my goodness! Like I saw, we got there. They were there, rocked up in a minibus. They were early, like just knocking up. And you can tell, when you play football, you can tell somebody. I was saying to Ben, I said, "This kid can time it." I didn't know what it was. I said, "He can bat." Oh, he can bat. And it's just thrown out. But yeah, they can bat. And one boundary was only about 55 metres, and they were just clonking it over. So to be fair, it's T21, so it's just their little adaptation of it. 20 overs, 6 overs power play at the beginning, and then the last over is also a power play over. So it's good fun or whatever. They end up with 212, so just about 10 and over, which on the small ground one side wasn't too bad, and particularly these two put on. We got a wicket in the second over, and these two put 180 on, I think. So one lad got 100, one lad got 70.
Wow. So
we did okay. It was good fun. Everybody got a game. You got a bit of neck ache looking at the ball, but it was good. And then, of course, we had to go out. So we were going all right. I think we were 30 odd off 2 and a bit overs, and then unfortunately I got run out, and then it kind of just.
So what happened with the run out? Was it just a case of you just?
Well,
it was. Please tell me you didn't stop before the wicket.
Just stitch me on that. We were just talking about not throwing people on the bus this, and you've just done it twice. What, 5 minutes, 9 seconds? Yeah, I did. So,
but it gets better though, doesn't it? Just tell me about. So you obviously we're not bothered about the shot. We're about.
No.
I love the fact that cameras are involved in this now.
Yeah. So there's cameras there. So the ball's gone to backward point, and the lad's misfielded it. Now, first thing, never really run on a misfield for one, but he's gone quite a bit behind him. So I've called Jay. We're sort of half thinking of one anyway. So I've called Jay through. Anyway, as the lad's picked it up, I can see the wicket. I can see the throw. I can see the wicket keeper. The wicket keeper's 3-4 yards still behind the stumps, and the ball is going at him. So I've kind of accelerated. I think I'm just easy in here, and the ball, the throw's that bad. It's hit the wicket keeper's pad, but quite powerful, and ricocheted at 90 angle, took the stumps, took the bails off. And I'm like, I think I might just be in anyway. They've gone for the third umpire, and there's a screen there watching it, and I'm literally, and in fact, it's going to be on YouTube later tonight.
Oh, well,
so literally, my foot is over the line, but not grounded. So it looks like a terrible piece of running, but it wasn't that bad.
It was. You run through the line, Jack. You teach everybody that.
I didn't even run my bat in it.
So you just said it wasn't that bad. Oh,
yeah, it's bad. But it was good fun and got everyone out. It's nice to actually hit a couple of balls.
So do you have any fixtures this weekend?
We have a game Sunday back to the DSL against Top Gunners, who are currently top of our league.
Maverick?
Yeah, Maverick, Goose,
nice.
Thierry Henry. We've got them Sunday morning.
And expectations?
Well, we were talking last night, we've got a very good side out. There's 2 or 3 players who have missed out on selection who are disappointed, upset as well, I think, which is good in one way. So the selection committee need to manage that.
You like it. It's always good to have a good headache.
I think so, yeah. Like a night out. You have to take it with the smoke, But yeah, so we're playing Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. And you were in good form last night, weren't you, I hear?
Well, since this, it was the night before the Turk game.
So you played 2, haven't you?
So we played Turks last week. Started up front, 1-0 up at half time. Didn't score at that point. Playing relatively well, held the ball up. And they had this Algerian guy at the back. And I was like, you talk about batting, and this guy was just another level. And I was just like, his touch is immense. Kept dropping deep off me. I think he thought I was fast for some reason, kept dropping deep. But the guy could play. The second half comes, Gaffer's made a change. He's put me from centre forward to centre back. That Algerian guy has moved into centre midfield from centre back, and he has just literally tore the game up. 20 minutes later, no, maybe about 10-15 minutes later, we're 2-1 down. First goal, he dribbles round 3 of our players and then pulls it square for a lad to tap it in to make it 2-1. And then the ball comes over the other centre half underneath it. And I'm like, head it away. He's not going to head it away. Anyway, he's got to chest it back to keeper and lob the goalie with a chest.
Good effort. He doesn't miss chest out, that lad then.
No, Heggs is like 3'2", the one who chests it, and the goalie is like 6'4".
My goodness.
So it's even better.
It's defied science.
It's like physics has just not existed in that game. So then we found ourselves 2-1 down. Gaffers realised we might need to switch back, and it gets to. We're in time added on, and it's not a nice game. It's a little bit physical. There's a few hits going in and about people. Their goalkeeper's not very nice, and he said not very nice things about my mother.
Lowest of the low, that.
So it wasn't just mother; it was sister, and I'm sure other people have probably mentioned in the same remit. Gets the 97th minute, and the ball gets played through, and I'm running through. I just got tired, Jack.
So you dived?
I just stopped running. I just fell over. Anyway, referee's gone. Give it, penalty, 97th minute. I was like, I'm definitely taking
You've
this.
not missed, have you?
I've taken this, and I've smashed it in the bottom corner. Goalkeeper's lead on the floor, and I just stood over him and looked and smiled.
Did you say a word?
I didn't say a word. Maybe the people around me might have shouted a few things. But yeah,
so you got a point.
So we drew 2-2 with the Turks, and then last night we played the Mariatas.
Oh yeah, the Maseratis.
The Maseratis, as everybody else
all
calls them.
sponsored by Maserati. Turn up in the players' cars.
Yeah. So basically, almost like an Egyptian Arabic team. Technically very, very good, but can't defend for toffee. Found found ourselves 2-0 up at half time. I'd scored two.
Oh.
One penalty, one back post.
Did he dive again?
No, it was a handball.
By you?
It was literally, the cross came from the right and it must have travelled 20 yards and it still hit the lad on the arm. You're like, why on earth have you not moved? And then the other one was just a back post. We'd done some nice build-up play, ball come in and just came to the back post and tapped it in. Nice little bit of movement. And then the gaffer says at half time, right lads, 2-0 is the worst scoreline in football. We need to defend. We need to just not make sure we get caught on the ball, move the ball quickly. And in the opening 2 minutes, we got caught in the centre midfield twice. Goalkeepers made a couple of great saves. Our first attack, ball's come to me. I flicked the header into Steph and he's hit a volley, which seemed to bounce about 73 times, but ended up going in the bottom corner.
That's what you need.
3-0 came off with about 10 minutes to go, and then Andy, who's not played for a while, not played since 7-a-sides, came on and scored to make it 4-0. So
good win.
Good win, comfortable. It was a strange game. I would say possession-wise, they probably had more than us, but possession is not the end result.
Absolutely right.
But never really created much other than that one chance right at the beginning of the second half. So, yeah, 3 points, 4 goals in the bag, clean sheet, 2 more for the booth, and I think I'm up to about 4th leading goal scoring now.
Very good. And game next week? This week, next week?
Yeah, so we are now 49 games unbeaten. So it's the big 50 next week, and it's against Energizer.
Oh, the bunny.
Energizer lost 4-1 to the Turks last night.
Right.
So
50 could be on the
should be. Well, I'd say I'd back us. We seem to now, dead bizarrely, the Turks game, we played really well first half. Last night, comfortable, looked really well organised. We're almost back to our fighting selves. So
Gaffer, just keep him up front. That's
well, it's funny because I saw the group message after. It was like, what score is it? Because we have like 70 lads in the group, like 1-0 Stu, 2-0 Stu, and then JC, who's obviously a legend at the club, is like, the lad scores goals.
The lad's good.
Just leave him up there.
That's what you should have tattooed on your epitaph.
Yeah.
The lad scores goals.
Yeah, so thanks for the support, JC. But yeah,
very good.
Yeah, onwards and upwards. I am shattered today. Achilles is in 60.
What time did you get in?
I got in just before midnight, but I think he would beat me by 2 hours this week, didn't he?
Yeah, 5 to 2. I was climbing into bed. Time did the alarm go off? 5:30.
Love a good 5:30 alarm. Right,
tired.
Let's have a quick look.
I'm overtired.
Yeah, have a quick look at the Premiership from last week. So we had painstaking game on Friday. If you're a Watford fan, if you're a Norwich fan, you were loving life. And in the result, and something you want to talk about, is that Norwich won 3-0 at Watford, resulted in Ranieri being chopped.
Yeah, so it was always inevitable because I think he's won 2 of his 11 games in charge, and we know the history there at Watford. I think they've appointed I think it's quite a shrewd appointment going for Roy Hodgson. Knows the Premiership. Probably, short-term deal. He's 77 years old, so
yeah. But I think Watford's biggest or best defence is their attack. Yeah. And I don't think Watford have got a strong hold at the back. And Roy builds his team. On strong defence.
And he has said that he's just going to go with what he's got. He's not going to go to the chairman asking for things. So. But it sparked a bit of a debate on my university group, actually. It was people on there, God, it's ridiculous, the sack. I don't know what the stat is, but it's something like 15 managers in 7 years, is it?
Oh, yeah, they're high.
The last time they had in the Premiership, they had 3 managers. This is their 3rd manager this year, this season, whatever. And then, actually, my other mate went, but actually, in one sense, it kind of works for them because, yes, they're one of these yo-yo sides, but they are always a yo-yo side over the last, I don't know, this 10 years maybe that they have been in the Premiership a couple of years out, straight back up.
Yeah.
So that almost kind of pressing the refresh button way quicker than any other club probably in the world, you would argue probably works for their model. They've got a bit of money. I think they're quite, financially stable. Yes, are they ever going to win anything playing like that in terms of an FA Cup? Probably not. Are they ever going to get any higher in the Premiership, like if you think about Wolves and Aston Villa, West Ham even, they've sort of developed as no, but they are one of those clubs. I don't really know what the answer is. Surely as a fan, I would want a little bit more long-term plan, I think.
I think so, because if you look at Watford's team now, and the 2 names that spring to mind, like you've got Cathcart in there. He's been around for donkey's years, and you chuck in Tom Cleverley in there.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 guys that shouldn't even be playing Premiership football anymore. So I think what they have done is they've invested in exciting players going forward, but they've just not built a base. And maybe Roy might do that. I can't see it. I can't see any benefit of having Roy in there. What is he going to bring now? Because 72 years old, where's the energy going to come from? No. Right, there'll be an element of respect, but there'll also be that thing of going, here's another one through the door. He's going to be 2 minutes.
And that's the interesting point. I did see some footage of his first training session. He was dead good, him and Ray Lewington. But from a player's point of view, how can you get, trust and maybe one of those things, and you said it before, that all of a sudden you become out of favour with the manager. Actually, at Watford, it probably doesn't matter that much because we're probably going to change it in 10 games. So I can have 10 games on the bench or here, there and everywhere, regain some of my own energy and then go again. It's a weird kind of model, but it's clearly a model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's happened the odd season or in a period of 2 years while they found the right man. It's happened regularly now for 10 years. Be interesting. Don't be surprised if they stay up though.
No, I can't see it happening, but I would be interested in keeping an eye on Ismail Sarr. I can't believe he didn't go stay in the Premiership last time. And also having a little look at Dennis. Josh King I'm not that bothered about, but I'd definitely be looking at Dennis, and Ismail Sarr was potential. And young enough in regards to still being able to be developed. So Ismail Sarr is excited and bags of pace.
Like you say, they've got some good players going for.
You don't want to say Ismail Sarr is like a younger version of Will Saha.
Yeah.
In that aspect. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does plummet.
And to be fair, Hodgson got some good stuff out. Yeah. Saha and Townsend and that when his days at Palace. He did really well at Palace.
I just look at that now and I look at Everton's buys, and Damari Gray's had a good season.
I think he's a decent.
Townsend's had a good season, but I think he now watch him. I think he's a little bit better when he's a little bit more involved in the game, where he's a little bit more central. Ismail Sarr would be great in a team like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with. It's almost like as Townsend's got older, he needs more of the ball to be an influence. Because I think he's always been a decent player, but we'll see what happens with Bizarre.
Yeah. On that, Everton obviously then went and lost Aston Villa. Great result for Stevie G going back to Merseyside. Got a load of stick like he did at Old Trafford.
Loves it,
this time managed to walk off with. You see, there's a parade and there wasn't. There was like 6 of the Aston Villa management team just walked across the pitch smiling and laughing. So Gary Mack would love that as well. But Villa, and we'll talk about transfers in a minute. I think they've done a bit of shrewd business with Chambers, but
I don't think he's the worst. Yeah,
I think we'll look at that.
Strange sale from Arsenal. I think.
Linked to probably every Tom, Dick, and Harry at the moment. But Villa, are you slowly sneaking up a team together that might? And I'm not saying this year, but next season could potentially push out the top 6.
I think there's no doubt. And I don't think Gerrard. I know that the chief executive, the owner, one of them is good friends with because of his time at Liverpool together. But again, there's no way that Gerrard is going there for them to tread water in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. He's going there to try, like I said, whether they get there or not, because have they got the spending power if everybody else goes? Probably not. But he's clearly got Coutinho because of who he is.
Yeah.
And Chambers quoted the fact that it's a young, vibrant manager.
Oh, who have they got coming in the summer as well? Suarez.
Yeah. That's what I reckon. It's only the Gerrard effect, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you look at that team, you've got Martinez, who arguably, outside the top 4, is probably the best goalkeeper.
But he could probably play in the top 4, to be honest.
Yeah, he'd definitely be pushing some of them. Tyrone Mings, as much as I think he's liable to throw one in, still an international defender, big, strong left footer. Yeah. And then if you chuck Chambers along there, if they get a good partnership together, you've got a good young player.
And the other young lad's good there though.
You've got
Denio at left back.
Yeah, Denio now at left back.
Matty Cash, the Polish Matty Cash.
Yeah, Matty Cash.
Polish.
He's a bit of a strange. He's a bit of a strange one, Matty Cash. Can't work out if he's good or just really bad. He's just really. He's like Marmite.
You just have to cash in.
Yeah, really. I like that Samson, who obviously had a stinker against United leading up to that goal. Douglas Luiz, even though he looks very old, is not that old.
I think Arsenal after him as well.
Yeah, and then you've got young Ramsey.
Yeah, I think
you've got Ollie Watkins. You've got Danny Ings. You've got Coutinho. You've got Buendia.
And then he's got experience of like Ashley Young there. He can play it anywhere.
I tell you what, he's getting together. Just a few nice little sprinkles there, and.
But surely you'd think he's aiming top 7. What is a Europa Conference place now?
Who's got the better team? Better starting 11? Leicester or Villa?
Everybody fit. Everybody
playing. Who's got a better team?
I don't don't know. It's close, isn't it? I don't think it's cut and dry because Leicester, you've got like Pereira if he's fit. I think it's absolute quality at right back.
Yeah, I'd say Pereira's the best.
I think Vardy, you take it Vardy over Danny Ings and Watkins still at the minute.
Do you think Vardy's not been that prolific this year? Granted, he's been injured, but he's not been that prolific.
I don't know. It's close. It's close.
Tell you what, and they're considered the top 16.
Yeah.
Well, watch this space. Interesting.
Chuck my boys in there as well. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because we rely so much on our front two.
Yeah. Other games that were on: Brentford 1, Wolves 2. I think a bit of a shock because that's one of Brentford's. They've only lost a couple of games at home this season, so I think for them,
I think they're going to be hanging. I think they'll be treading more. I think they might just start sinking but stay above it.
This could be the turning point. Obviously, there's always a team that starts well in the first half and then slowly trip up and then potentially could get dragged into it.
And also, you just talked about the fact that Norwich have won, so they've got themselves in the fight.
Yeah.
Newcastle, then you're going to go in the next game get their second win of the season. So not only are they slipping, the other sides below them have.
He's kind of dragging people in there.
Exactly.
And on that, Newcastle beat Leeds 1-0 at Leeds. So off a great win at West Ham. They are just such a flick of a coin team.
And they can still get dragged in.
They must be a bettor's nightmare because you can't predict what's going to happen.
And I see they've just had a bid turned down for Minamino, Leeds.
Have they gone in for Minamino? Yeah. There's a few people.
They need a striker. They've got to need a striker.
And then United scraped a 1-0. And I think for me, there's elements of offside with regards to Cavani getting the ball and then setting up Rashford. Yeah. And I think it's just too close to call. But a bit disappointing is that West Ham didn't really go at United. No. And you thought that United are a little bit there for the taking at the moment.
I think they are.
I don't know if it's David Moyes, is that. Was he a little bit, we don't want to get turned over here big time, so let's keep ourselves nice and compact tight?
I agree with you. I mean, I think Man United's weakness, I know they're not playing very well, but it's clearly their strengths going forward. Their weakness, where they look all at sea if a side goes at them. Even, it doesn't mean some of the bottom sides have done that. So with West Ham's talent going forward, I was a bit surprised that they kind of sort of sat in a little bit.
You saw it in the second half of the Villa game where Villa just went, right, we've got to go for this now. We're 2-0 down, we've got to go and press and see if we can pinch, and then suddenly United followed like a deck of cards. So I think Moyes will probably reflect on that, a little bit disappointed. And then the game that nobody saw happening, Southampton 1, City 1, which now just nudges that door just a little bit open. It's still a big ask.
But I think I looked, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if Liverpool win the game tonight and beat City, does that take them to within 4 or 2?
It's within touching distance.
You still need City slip up.
What are you talking about, my friend? So the games at the moment is City have played 23, so one game ahead. Liverpool are on 48, so Liverpool win that game in hand, puts them on 51. 6 points behind. Win that game in hand, puts them 3 points. So that's one win, and at that point, goal difference is neither here nor there for both teams. So it does kind of. I still think it's going to be. If Liverpool do this would be better than the year that they ran away with.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, Man City still haven't lost. They're still drew. And Pep Guardiola plays immediately. They're best we've played all season.
Of course.
I'm not disappointed in it for you. Yeah. They've absolutely been given an absolute roasting.
Yeah. We actually, but he's always said that, and you see it in the documentaries. Is I'll stick up for you outside of here, and I will annihilate you in here. And then the other big disappointment was, if we flick to Sunday, is Arsenal, especially when I had Saka as captain, just a 0-0 with Burnley. Yeah. What on earth's going on there? Great result for Burnley.
Great result again. Arsenal. I don't really want to talk about Arsenal, but the bubbles burst a little bit, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if they might be another team that when they play low-ranked teams, they can't get up for it, and then when they play better teams, they seem to play decent football. And then was an interesting game, Crystal Palace Liverpool.
Yeah, didn't have it all your own way, did you?
No, Liverpool first half 2-0 up. Looked like they could have been out of sight. Looked quite comfortable. Looked quite creative going forward, despite missing now probably 2 better strikers.
Yeah.
And then second half, Palace came back into it. And then get one back, and it's that type of game where it's on a knife edge, isn't it? And then I've seen people slating this penalty. So for me, is that Jota doesn't have full control of the ball. I understand that,
but it's irrelevant.
He slid out and hit the player. So if you take a player out, whether it's accidental or not, whether it's just your motion of your body and you hit somebody, you've still tripped them up. Even if they may not quite get to the ball or they're not got full control of it.
And I don't buy the fact that they reckon that he stepped into it. I don't think he did, but even if he did, so what?
Silly move from the goal.
The only thing I would say about it, and this isn't necessarily the penalty, this is to do with the way it's used. If they're still claiming a clear and obvious error to change a decision, that wasn't a clear and obvious, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I get you. I said penalty straight away. I thought it was a penalty, but once the referee's not giving it, was it clear and obvious? In my opinion, I don't think it was.
No. But it just secured the points for Liverpool. So nice, good win there for the mighty Reds. Then Leicester drew 1-1 with Brighton. It's just stumbling a bit again, Leicester.
The problem with Leicester, they get some injuries. They're bare bones a bit, aren't they?
Yeah. And then the big one, Chelsea versus Spurs.
You watched it, did you?
I didn't watch it. So
be honest, the gulf between Spurs and the top three is there for to see, and Conte's done that. And I just said before, I'm fearful in the transfer window because if you don't get anybody, I think he'll walk. And then we're in a whole world of pain because then the likes of Son, Kane, and anybody else will go.
Yeah.
What I would say, and I try and be neutral, is I think Kane's goal should stand. Don't get me wrong, I think it's clever defending in terms of his experience. Oh dear, I've made a boo. Yes, I felt a nudge in my back and going down. But again, why on earth, why Portini's given that free kick in the first place is beyond me.
But VAR at that point, can they intervene?
Yeah, well, they did intervene.
So he gave the free kick.
So again, probably not clear and obvious. So I think the process they went through was correct. You're a striker, I don't know if you've seen it, the still looks awful because his arm's full length and it looks like he's doing an almighty, but he hasn't. They've gone in, the ball's gone wide and he's sort of made a run, and as he's sort of come off him, he's just nudged him to give himself a bit of space, and as he's done that, old Silva knows that he's overrun the ball because I think he's going to try and cut the ball out and then just gone down. It changes the game, doesn't it? Going 1-0 just at half time just changed the game. There's no doubt about it. But we're way off. I don't think Chelsea were that good. No. We're way off. A little bit disappointed in the side that he picked, to be honest. Well, essentially, I don't know what he's playing. He basically played 8 defenders.
Yeah, we couldn't work out the formation beforehand, could we? Couldn't work out
a
4-5-1, a 3-5.
He basically played 4-4-2.
Yeah.
With 2 fullback, yeah. And when he's got people on the bench who can do that.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's looked at, because Chelsea are renowned now for the ball going to the left winger, let's say it's Hudson-Odoi and he pushes on, that then the left back then becomes a further left winger.
Yeah, I think that's
so. I just wonder if he's then going, right, if we can cut that out, maybe we can get some.
And I think he's doing what probably did the first half, is just look a bit because it didn't really cause us any massive issues. Get the goal because he's always got a chance. When he played Bergwijn on the back of the other night with Kane, that half a chance, half a sniff, you can be 1-2 up without playing very well. That's obviously his game plan. I just think that. I don't know. Have we got better players than that? I don't know. He obviously doesn't fancy some of them, does he? Which we said before.
Unfortunately. And then bizarrely is the next game for fantasy football is not until the 5th of February. So we'll have to wait a while before we can announce the next weekly winner. I'll tell you what, before we go to transfers, let's break it up.
Yeah.
Women's Ashes, England.
Yeah, so the other 2 teams, they've lost the first T20, the other 2 got rained off for banding about ball being bowled.
Good result for England.
Yeah, well it was because they get points for that because it's this multi-format one. And then the test match has started yesterday. So you'd only play 4-day test match, bizarrely. Australia 330 off for 9 declared this morning. England are about 100 behind with 8 wickets down, so up against it. But the captain Heather Knight is 120 odd.
I was going to say, to be only 100 down is still
and they were in a bit of bother as well, and captain's in it. So yeah, fair play. SM's Heather Knight, so she shares the same bat sponsor as myself.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
And actually,
did she get out for Diamond?
She would have done in the past. And also, she is a honorary life member of Woodall Spa Cricket Club because she reopened our refurbishment of the pavilion 5 years ago. 6 years
You
ago.
were an honorary member of that.
No, I'm not.
You're on the wall though. I've seen the pictures.
I'm on the wall. I'm all over, mate. I'm all over that club.
I heard you're all over Woodall, but that's a different story completely.
Yeah, 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I've lost my train of
You're
thought.
right.
Yeah, so they're in a decent position. Hopefully, from there, they won't lose the Test match, so they'll share those points. So they're in. Then they go to 3 ODIs, so they're in with a shout of winning the Ashes still. If they lose the Test match because it's worth more points, they're up against it.
Okay, and then just quickly while we're talking about men's lost to West Indies.
Yeah, so they're 2-1 down in that series.
Doing well, England, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean to be fair, with the
I
team,
think it's all linked to the podcast because when we very first started this podcast, England were number 1 ranked team in the world and beat India.
Yeah.
And then you were grumbling about bubbles, and then ever since then they've not won a game.
It's funny you say that because, I mean, to be fair, in West Indies have not got the full strength of the side out, and Morgan's now injured. So, but it's good because they're giving other people opportunity, and they've got 2 to go, so they can still win the series. But I saw an interview with Paul Collingwood, who's out there with them as the coach. He did a bit of the Ashes tour, then went back home to England and then gone out there. And he was basically saying that, yeah, we made some selection errors, toss errors, etc. Did play brilliantly in Australia, clearly. But actually, he's basically saying that the fact of the matter is England have kept the game going throughout COVID as a national body. Made a good point, kept people in jobs. And he just thinks that some of the players are just burnt out mentally.
Well, maybe some of the players need, or maybe some of the management need to lose jobs.
I agree with you. And I do take his point. I think some of them will be like that. But at the same time, don't argue on the fact that some of them are not good enough.
Right, transfers. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it seems to have been a bit of a rollercoaster in the last 48 hours, even to the point where I was convinced you were signing Adam Traore and it was done and dusted and it was 20 million, which makes me laugh, is that he was ranked 75 million a couple of seasons ago when he was on fire. And then it seems that last minute he's going to Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah, apparently he preferred it, doesn't like the way that Spurs wanted to use him or something like that, and he's going there.
As a wing back?
Yeah, I think so. I'll be honest, I'm not bothered. I think it's 20 million that we've avoided spending. I just don't believe he spent it somewhere else. But yeah, I'm not too fussed about that, I will be honest. I mean, Spurs, I just mentioned it briefly, are disappointed at the minute. Couple of reasons. Let's start with the positive. We've got Hugo Lloris on a new contract. Yeah. Good. We'll start with that. Disappointed the fact we've let some of the younger kids go out. Sold, not even on loan. Disappointed that apparently Spurs stalling loan moves for Dele Alli. So I think Newcastle, Everton, Southampton, and another team, I think maybe even Paris Saint-Germain, have been talking about, and I've said before, I think a loan move would be really good because I think if he can reinvigorate himself, and we'll have him back. But apparently Tottenham are stalling that.
Well, I think if I was a Tottenham fan and a Tottenham employee, I wouldn't really want to send him to anybody in the Premiership because if he kicks on and has a bit of form and suddenly we lose our place in that top 6 fight or top 5 fight or top 4, whatever it is, come the end of the season, because he's then gained extra points from it.
He might, but then also he then becomes in the winner. He might want to move rather than anyway. So, but apparently Tottenham's stalling there. Same with the Tanguy and the Dembele move. Apparently Paris Saint-Germain, but it's Tottenham stalling that. And then on top of that, we've not signed anybody. Well, we're linked with every Tom, Dick and Harry.
Is it stalling because he wants to make sure he's got something coming in before releasing anything?
I think there's obviously a little bit
like
of money,
one in, one out.
And that's Levy. But my biggest fear is, and I've not been a massive critic of Levy, to be perfectly honest, not as much as other people, because I think you only have to look at other clubs, and even the big Barcelonas and Madrids of this world, where you're just spending money willy-nilly or whatever, that it doesn't always work, and it can lead bigger trouble down the line. But he's got an opportunity now, for the first time, I think, that I can remember in recent years, that he's got a top manager at the height of his game. You mentioned about Mourinho, and I'll concede the fact that we had him, he was on his way out, I think, at this level. Pochettino did a great job, I love him to bits, but when we got him, he was young, and perhaps when we wanted to kick on, he just lacked that experience that was needed, that he may well have now. So certainly since Pochettino, this is their first opportunity, and if he doesn't back it, he will walk because he'll walk into another job. Man United are still
Well,
sniffing
that's
out
it.
for the summer.
United haven't put anything in place
Of course,
yet.
they'll walk into another job tomorrow. And then not only if that happens, then of course that reignites the fire with Harry Kane, and I would even go Min Son.
Okay.
Because the top things about going into the top 4 in Champions League football becomes way.
Well, he's definitely not valued himself at 150 million so far this year, has he, Harry Kane?
No, and again, that's Levy, isn't it? He's not going to get that for him now.
We mentioned before about Aston Villa just signed Callum Chambers. I didn't realise how old he was. I thought he was much younger than that. He's 27 years old, 3.5-year deal. I think that's a solid signing for Villa.
Shrewd. I think it's not absolute game changer, but it's shrewd. I think.
Yeah, it's a nice bit, and it just strangely he's only made 5 appearances for Arsenal.
And a free transfer.
Yeah,
he played quite a lot last year as well.
Well, I think the real in now is if you get somebody, there'll be a hidden fee behind that.
Yeah, but within certain contract.
If the contract's running out, you can wait till summer, or they'll say to him, right, okay, if you chuck in a free can of Coke, you can have him.
Yeah, well, because
if
Arsenal will be within 6 months of their contract.
Yeah,
now,
so if Arsenal get him off the books and don't pay him and get rid of him, then
because I would have thought contracts are. Do they run to 31st of July?
I don't know when they run to. And then the Liverpool chase for Diaz, it seems like somebody has sparked this into action. So Liverpool have been sniffing around Diaz for a while now, and it's almost like somebody came in with a bid and it came really, really close to signing the Colombian winger Luis Diaz from Porto, and then that's kind of just gone, right, we need to up our game, otherwise it's going to go.
Spurs have been linked with him, but we've been linked with everything.
Yeah. But I think initially Liverpool were looking to the summer to get him, and now it looks like it potentially happens.
It could happen where he stays at Porto.
Back at Porto for the end of the season. And then this is an interesting one. This is the last one we'll talk about. Is that Newcastle have just signed Bruno Guimarães? Is that how you say it? Guimarães, which is the first time Newcastle have signed a Brazilian international since Mirandinha back in '87. So there's 2 things on this: is who is Bruno? And where is he from and what does he play?
Midfield player.
I never even heard of him. And the second one, Joe Linton, not Brazilian.
Yeah,
had international caps.
I had a third one here. That Mirandinha played at Boston United in a pre-season friendly or during a cup weekend years ago. In the late 80s, and a certain Jack Luffman was the mascot.
Oh, was it?
He was. I think it was close to my birthday now, I've been thinking about that.
And he snapped.
6, 7, 8-year-old, I bet my mum's got one, was a mascot. Manchester United versus Newcastle, and Mirandinha played at York Street.
Right, well, last thing before we disappear, have you heard this? Have you seen the images for this?
Yeah, what you got there. I got tagged in it from a mate at uni because my mate Emerson got sent off after 20 minutes, and I just said they're better off for 10 men. Then I've seen that. That was rescinded, wasn't it? So,
for the first ever time, Alisson has been sent off twice in one game, and both cans have been rescinded. So the image of what we've got on the screen now is basically Alisson's foot is behind the back of the striker's head, and looks like he's going to catch in on him. But he said it's the first ever time this has ever happened, and the other one was he came out and punched somebody in the face.
So that one doesn't look as bad. I think that can happen, doesn't it? But
when the ball gets played into an area, he's just come out and you can see there he's not even looking at the. He's got his eyes closed when he's punching. But for the first ever time, so Ecuador keeper Dominguez was sent off for a reckless challenge after 15 minutes before Brazil's Emerson Rowe was dismissed 5 minutes later.
2 bookings in 20 minutes. He's rubbish.
It sounds like one of the best games ever. It was just action-packed, sending offs, goals scored. So the 29er was initially dismissed in the 25th minute after catching former West Ham striker Valencia with a high boot, which looks pretty bad. But replays changed the referee's mind. For Alisson was similarly reprieved for a later foul on another striker where he's come out and basically just...
He's kicked him in the head!
First one he's kicked him in the head, second one he's punched him in the head, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's paid for Liverpool. You've got everybody around your little fingers. Talking of great game, what about AFCON? We mentioned 2 weeks ago, everything happens there. Did you see it this week? So I can't think what the nation was, where they were playing, not Colombia, they were playing Cameroon in the quarter-final. Nation Conles, or I don't know.
Oh yes, Conles, and they didn't have a goalkeeper.
They didn't have a goalkeeper, so they had the outfield player to play a goal. They even had to put masking tape on his number on the goalkeeping shirt was number 16. Wasn't allowed, so they had to put a number 3 masking tape on the back of it. I mean,
they only lost one as well.
Yeah, and because they got injuries and COVID and all that, and then linked to that, today, now, is the Big Bash final in Australia. Sydney Sixers playing Perth Scorchers. Dan Christian, the Sydney Sixers player, put a thing out. Because it's all being played in Melbourne because of COVID. Any good grade cricketers in Melbourne up for a game Friday night. My team who play in pink are short on numbers due to COVID and injuries. Free beer after the match, possibly out of a big trophy. Inquiries below, please. They're absolutely on the bare bones about it. So I don't know what the outcome of that was, but it just shows COVID making mockeries a little bit of top form.
The good thing is, by the end of it all, everybody's still trying to get on with it.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah. But end of the day, Jack.